Today's episode is sponsored by our friends at Famous Faces and Funnies, located in Melbourne, Florida. Hey, check out their Facebook live auctions on great deals. And of course, our friends at PGX Comics. Hey, they're the Gen X place to get your comics graded and in case, shipping nationwide. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Codename New to Vero 2. Hi, I'm your presenter, Shabu Are You. You know, with no G.I. Joe comic books to recap, and we're still waiting for the new publisher to be announced, I think this is an excellent opportunity just to showcase some comic books that have come back from grading. As I mentioned during my EGS unboxing that, I do submit a lot of books to both companies to grade, and it's just to showcase the end result, the quality that you can expect if you're one of those people that have been sucked into the CGC fanboys, that they're in fact viable options and they do exceptional, really good work. And I've been doing this for over 4 or 5 years, and I'm really happy with both all of those things I see these CGC fanboys posts and defamation against these two privately owned companies. It is kind of like biased and not right. So I just want to present the alternative that all of that bad publicity, and maybe you've heard rumors and stuff, that they are not true. And that these companies are in fact really reputable and excellent alternatives and worth investing in. Now, I talked about in my last episode how John Royle has been compared to J.Scott Campbell during his early runs. Now, J.Scott Campbell, for a lot of Gen Xers out there, he's like the new, one of the big artists, like the Todd McFarlane or Herb Trimpe, like, back in the day. So in today's modern comics, he's one of the most sought out artists to do covers. And J.Scott Campbell is a very good artist. I really do enjoy his work. He excels in actually drawing the female form, girls. And he's able to not only showcase the beauty, but the strength and just the overall, their ability to be superheroes. So I think he captures that really well. It's not just drawing a girl with big boobs. That's not what it's all about. It's able to convey that this character is super indeed, so that's what I think he accomplishes very well. So the first book we're going to look at today is nothing spectacular, but I think it's really good. And that is Black Cat issue number 1. This is Black Cat's ongoing series, I think 2008 or 2019. So this is a J.Scott Campbell cover, variant cover, and I love this. When I saw it on the comic shelves in Docking Bay 94, I had to pick this up over the other covers. I really like how it captured Black Cat's mystery, her prowess, and everything. Very excellently done. And it's kind of funny when you look at the back covers of books, like they're sometimes, if they're advertising a show or something, how they the show, but Cloak and Dagger, based off of the comic book characters Cloak and Dagger that premiered in Amazing Spider-Man. So this, I never really caught it. I don't know, but it's not here. It was off the air very quickly, so I'm assuming that it was a flop. So that's kind of interesting. But J.Scott Campbell does really kind of like following the Todd McFarlane thing. He signs all of his books. So I like how he does that. And again, like, this cover is absolutely amazing. Look at that. And we got a 9.4 on this PGX. The funny thing is, like, when I submit the books, I read them. So they are readers technically, and then I gently put them away and send to grading. But this one came out really good. So Black Cat issue number 1. Okay, so the next book we're going to showcase is another J.Scott Campbell cover and another recent book that recently came out. And I think this book kind of fully explains or showcases what I'm trying to explain to you guys out there. And we're looking at Mary Jane and Black Cat issue number 1. So this was actually an offshoot to the Amazing Spider-Man. They called it Beyond. I don't know. I wasn't too keen to it. They would have, I guess, side issues that went along with the main story that they try to encourage the reader to go and pick up to kind of fill in the gaps to the main story arc. Because at the time, there's a lot of stuff going on with, Peter Parker was, I guess, hospitalized, and Ben Reilly was taking over, and they were working for a company called Beyond. So that deals with the whole backstory for this issue. But again, the point is to showcase J. Scott Campbell's artwork. And if you look at that, I mean, both the Black Cat and Mary Jane look absolutely stunning in this cover with that red and black contrast to their black outfits. I mean, this is absolutely breathtaking. This book has really no monetary value, significant monetary value, but the fact is I mean, again, that's one of the reasons why I send the books in. It's not just for monetary purpose, but because of the artistic appeal for me. And that's why I think this one deserved to get graded in slab. It's absolutely breathtaking. And in the back, we have an advertisement for Marvel music. So I had no idea that existed. It says it's your one-stop shop for all the favorite Marvel music. So that's cool. I mean, it actually kind of goes along with the front cover as well. But this is a 9.6 and came out in 2022, so not that long ago. And this was also picked up at Docking Bay 94. I like how Docking Bay always gets not all the variants, but the ones that are, well, the ones that appeal to me, but the variants that would probably appeal to most buyers. So this is an excellent job. Mary Jane and Black Cat issue number 1. Okay, so I'm going to showcase the next 2 books together because they're actually books that we have already showcased here on the channel, meaning that they are books we already unboxed, but I just got a new copy, a different copy of the same issue. So the first one is we're going to look at Ghost Rider or Marvel Spotlight issue number 6. This is going to be the 3rd time I've sent this book in for grading, and each time I've gotten a better grade. And this book is absolutely my book of pick to greatest value by not spending too much. So with the prices of Marvel Spotlight number 5, Ghost Rider's first appearance, this one is actually the book to target because it's not only the second appearance, but also retells his origin story again. I think this book is the one with the most potential for growth in anybody's personal collection. And I love the cover. I think it's really amazing. The Mike Pugh cover, it doesn't matter how many times I pick up this book, I still get the same feeling. And the fact that I'm able to upgrade every single time I acquire this book is kind of a textbook example of how to go about going into modern comics. Is that, hey, you might want to start off low, and if you want, build up a little bit more to get a higher grade. And the 6.0 is no slouch. I think this is probably the best looking. The last one I had was a 5.0, and I think the one before that was a 4.5. So this 6.0, looks absolutely amazing. And what's amazing is the back cover. Is how nice this white is. And on the other versions, I had a couple like, dirt marks and stuff, but PGX's Clean and Press service did an excellent job with this book. They really brought it out. Except, I mean, if it wasn't for this tick mark, and I guess this corner scuff right here, this would be up there probably in an 8 or almost flirting with the 9 grade. The front is absolutely amazing. We have a little crease right there. So we know that this 6.0 is another tick mark there. So we know that this 6.0 is a good 6.0 because like overall those small blemishes doesn't take away from how excellent this book looks. And I'm so glad that this came out the way it did. And again, the clean and press service is definitely worth getting. So the next one is actually an interesting story. The other Hulk, Incredible Hulk 182 is the same feeling versus getting 181. I think 182 is probably the third appearance of Wolverine, and with Hugh Jackman reprising his role, expect all the Hulks to shoot up in demand and value. So that's why it's good to target those next best issues, because those are the ones that are still you could able to get as a fan, a real fan, and not, you know, for monetary purposes. But they also have the same best growth potential going forward. So this is a Hulk 182. Now my regulars would know that I have a 7.0, but this 4.5. Now the difference is the 7.0 got that grade, but it was missing the Marvel value stamp. Now this one has the Marvel value stamp intact, and I'll put a picture of that there. So what is better? That's a question that I want to ask to all of you. Would you rather have that missing and have a higher grade, or have that intact and get a lower grade? It's a catch-22 type of question. But the 7.0 I think looks better overall, because there's, despite this 4.5, you see why I got it. It has, you know, several tick marks, especially in this top corner right here. That's what did this book dirty. And also I think at the bottom right here. So those two corners are basically what did this book in from being a higher grade. But, you know, overall, like the front cover, the clean and press service, oh yeah, and another crease right there. So yeah, those blemishes really hurt this book. But overall, it's not a bad looking book. It presents well. The back cover, again, you could really see the clean and press service when you look at this 70s white and what PGX was able to do with that. That's where you really see the work, and also the colors in the front. So this is not so much a disappointment. I mean, it is what it is, but at the same time, like, you know, I'm glad I have one complete and one missing of the Marvel value stamp. So Incredible Hulk 182. The next book I'm going to mention really quickly, because we talked about it during our EGS unboxing when we looked at X-Men number 6, the Jim Lee cover. This is the John Royle Dracula issue number 4, homage to that X-Men number 6. And, you know, I'm not going to spend too much time on this book, but again, just to showcase to those who haven't seen that episode yet, again, this is a phenomenal job with John Royle doing the artwork. And I absolutely saw this and had to get it, because I read Draculina issue number 1 and 2, skipped number 3, and then when I saw this cover, I jumped right back on. You know, as part of that whole Vampirella universe, I mean, if you could see, her outfit is just a black version of Vampirella's outfit. But the fact that this is an homage to that Jim Lee cover is, again, the reason why I definitely had to get this and add it to my collection. And credit PGX. I mean, I got this book back in less than 2 months. A lot of these submissions, I was shocked when I got that box full of 12 graded books coming back to me. I was like, wait a second, like, I'm adding it up in my head, and I'm like, I should, because usually, like, I send books and then, like clockwork, like PGX is like clockwork, they'll, like, it'll take them 2 months to get back. So I'm thinking in my head, I should have a lot less than this, but whatever. And I opened the box, and to my surprise, there were some books I sent like literally a month and a half ago. So credit to the PGX team. Thank you for taking care of me, and thank you for being a sponsor of this channel. The next book is actually really interesting as well. We've seen a big spike and a flood of Todd McFarlane signed books that have been graded. That's because he had a private signing that CGC held, and you see the familiar books of ASM 300, the Batman one, so many, Spawn #1, so many of his books. But so when it comes to Todd McFarlane, you know, there's not really many hidden gems out there. I will say that the Marvel tales that he did were absolutely great pickups. If you're a fan of Todd McFarlane, like a lot of these modern kiddos and even some millennials are, those are really good value as picking up the Marvel tales. Another excellent value that often gets overlooked is his few covers that he did for the Incredible Hulk. Now, this is probably one of those, this is a tandem of him and Eric Larson, but you could tell that Todd McFarlane basically took care of the meat and potatoes of this cover. And this cover is absolutely amazing. It really shows how the Hulk, the Gray Hulk at that time, was really just breaking out and kind of casting a shadow over that entire story arc. And I love this cover. I thought this was cool. And in the back, it has that take a bite of the Chips Ahoy cookie game. I mean, I remember playing this and I had so much, it was so stupid that it was fun, but I love this little puzzle that was in the back of a lot of books in the 90s. So this book, 346, picking up a little bit of traction, but not so much that it is commanding an absurd amount. I think this is a good, solid pickup for the long term as we get older in personal collections. And it's one of the few Todd McFarlane books that are under the radar and kind of really, this is a Todd McFarlane book. I mean, the cover is. So that's what I like about this. Like, it's not a Spider-Man, it's not a Spawn, but it's another character that he draws, and he draws really well. So I like that aspect of it. As much as I'm sick of hearing how great Todd McFarlane is, you know, overshadowing like Herb Trimpe's and you know, John Byrne and all these other writers and artists from our era, you know, as much as he's part of my era as well, I think that there were other artists to be noted and appreciated, that he's not the be-all, say-all when it comes to comic book art. So Incredible Hulk number 346. Good one. So my regulars know that this channel is a big fan of badass female characters. You know, characters that embodies, you know, being strong, but being pretty, and also being independent. And, you know, I have always gravitated to those characters. I think they're appealing, and you know, I married one. So that's what makes this fun. So earlier, in an earlier unboxing, we showcased Red Sonja #1. So this is her first ongoing series. Now we know that there is a Red Sonja movie that has been finishing up filming and is about to debut, and I'm really excited and looking forward to that. So this book, I think, is definitely going to be picking up as soon as we get closer to the release. Now, another Red Sonja book that is probably worth taking note of is her second solo series that came out in 1983. So this is Red Sonja issue #1, the second time she has a ongoing series. And this one is a little bit of a letdown. I really, you know, I was talking about in the EGS episode how those certification of authenticity, sorry about that, I couldn't get that out. Oh, but anyway, how it's able to tell you why your book got the grade that it got. This one, I wish I had that such COA with me. This is a newsstand edition, issue number 1, and it got only a 6. So the problem is, and I said it in that episode, I submit so many books to our grading partners that sometimes I don't look through books thoroughly. I'll give a quick glance and I'm like, yeah, that's good. There it goes. So I'm actually wondering why this one got the 6.0. And because on surface value, it was, it looked pretty good. I only see two tick marks, and I see maybe this water damage right here in the corner. But the other thing I learned from Tony and EGS, that certain blemishes automatically lead to a deduction. So for example, I talked about that Marvel value stamp missing in that Hulk 182. Because that was missing, it automatically drops down to a 7 tier. So I wonder if that's the same case for a watermark, that because you see a watermark, you drop down to a 7, and then you start, deducting blemishes. So for example, that Hulk 7.0, probably with that deduction starts off at an 8. And after that, they subtract deductions. So I think that may be the case for this book. It starts off at, all right, you're not going to get a 10, you're not going to get a 9. You're going to start off at a 7 or 8. And then when you add the deductions, you end up with the 6.0. I have a feeling that is the most logical explanation why this got a 6.0. So that's another thing to make note of for even whether you're a modern comic fan or an old school comic fan, is that certain blemishes will automatically knock down the tier your book can maximally achieve. So that may be the case for this. But hey, regardless, look at this book. It is a beautiful front cover. Yeah, you got those small tick marks on the side, but it doesn't really detract from the book. And when you flip it in the back, except for that corner, it's all said and good. So this is definitely a good, it's a good pickup. It's not that bad, and I don't, regret it, and I think I'm a little disappointed, but at the same time, that's part of the game. And like I said, when you submit as many books as I do, sometimes a few issues fall through the cracks, and it's just part of the thing, and it's part of the fun, actually, to me. Now, I'm not one of these 9.8s, CGC only to sell and flip because I need money, because I don't have a job and I don't have a profession. I do work for a living, I do have a job. I do have a degree. So that's not the reason why I'm in this hobby. I'm in this hobby because I enjoy this. I love it. I know that comics were a big part of my upbringing, and that's why I want to pass it down to the next generation, and also to help those like me that grow up with this appreciate this hobby once again. So, Red Sonja, issue number 1. Alrighty, so that does it for this episode of Codename New to Vero Dune. We did another graded comic unboxing, and the most important thing is just to showcase these books, so everybody can enjoy, reminisce, and if these books are something that you would like to get down the road, at least you have that option to consider. And I just like to, that's the whole point of this channel. It's just for us Gen Xers that grew up with this, and it was a big part of our life. It's just rekindled that passion and excitement for comic books. And again, it's not like how these modern comic kiddos are. Like, it's not monetary based or what have you. It's just for the pure enjoyment and love of the art form and the media that is important. And I'm sure as we get older, that paper as a media will be dying. We have a lot of people that read their comics online. I still can't do that, yes, I do, especially during our comic book recaps. I utilize those services because I like the cleaner images versus taking a picture of each single page in a comic book. So I do utilize that online tool, but at the same time, I need to feel that paper. I need to hold it in my hand, and I need to see it and experience it to appreciate it to its full content. And I hope that you, as a viewer, are in the same boat, the same category as a fan. I'm dressed like this today. I have no idea why. My mom got me this hat. I don't know, because I used to wear bandanas when I played football in high school, and I do it when I work outside, you know, to help with the sweat. And I don't ride a Harley or any of that. Matter of fact, I hate Harleys. I ride a 250 Honda scooter. So I'm a badass on a scooter, and I'm damn proud of it. But this is the bike shop that actually fixes my scooter, and I have no idea why I'm wearing this skull hat. So this is probably the first and only time you're going to see me wear this on camera, but it's funny as hell, so that's why I'm doing it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for another episode of Codename New2Vero 2. We'll see you later. Bye.